I want to say thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to the old Henderson Real News Show. We welcome you, and we know that you are listening. We've been reviewing your stats, and I want to thank you for staying with us for a long time. We intend to be working in this arena in social media for the next 10 or 15 or 30 years. So we want you all to pass this information along. Pass it along and tell people to listen to the Eld Henderson Real News Show. Organize, don't criticize, on WeBelieveDigital.com. This show is shown in at least 139 different nations throughout the world. And we are very concerned about people all over the world, especially black people. And if you don't look at your people first, look out for yourself first, look out for others first, I guarantee you, you will never be considered a significant person in the world. So this is why I'm telling you today we will be doing something a little new. We will be giving another general summary of things that we will be talking about in the future. But our emphasis this period, folks, this hour, is going to teach you how to fish. Going to teach you how to fish in economics and education. There's an old Chinese philosopher. He's said something like this in ancient times. He said, give a man a fish and he will eat for a day. Teach a man to fish and he will eat for a lifetime. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be telling you some things today that will get you in a position after you hear this information, and starting tomorrow, you can start changing your life, your status, your family, and your community in 30, 60, or 90 days, guaranteed. You are going to learn how to fish today. Most of you already know these things. There's nothing new out there, folks. Everything you hear, you've heard it before. There's nothing new that I know of, and that's why I'm going to show you one more time that there is a tough time coming, folks. It's going to be tough in America, in the world, for the next 15 to 30 years. I told Mr. Socrates some days ago that we're not going to have another flood in the world. It's going to be fire next time, and that's already started. They have a war going on right now. I call it World War III, Part 1, in the Middle East. According to my latest information and reviews, I see that there are about 5 different nations that's participating in that war, killing thousands and thousands of individuals, including 5,000 or 6,000 children on both sides. And it's going to be worse. And that's why today I want you to learn how to prepare for tough times. And I want you to take a minute or less and call some of your relatives, call your friends, and tell them to get over there on WeBelieveDigital.com and listen to this program called Organize, Don't Criticize. And I want to talk about these strategies today so you can be ready. Because if you don't know how to fish and prepare for a lifetime, economically and educationally, your days are numbered, folks. And since you already considered, and I'm talking about black people worldwide, you already considered an outcast. You already considered a member of the class, and no one respects you. The people that rule the world are always saying, and have said since about 2,500 years ago, anything you have, black folks, worldwide, we want it. We're not going to even ask you for it. We are going to tell you we want it, and then we're going to take it. And if you don't like it, we're going to take care of you through a variety of means, which I'll talk about later. And none of these means, folks, are good. Now, as you know, that since you have to learn to survive, you have to prepare for tough times. And today I'm going to give you several things you need to consider. and give you some survival strategies that will help you move forward starting tomorrow. And there are 8 survival strategies that I will address today. And I will just give you a short summary of each one, and then we'll get some meat on them as we go on, because we have about 45 minutes left in this series. The survival strategies which must prepare you for tough times are as follows. Number 1, you must learn to focus on goals. Focus on goals, ladies and gentlemen. Number 2, you must identify and starve problems in your life. Identify and learn how to starve problems in your life. And the way you do that, ladies and gentlemen, is number 3 that you will learn today, and that is to work on your negative traits. Work on your negative traits. All of you have them. Some of you know you're perfect, but I guarantee you, you do have some faults, and when we finish today, you will be able to identify those faults. And even though they are negative, most faults are negative. They are not good, because if it's negative, it's going to hurt you, your family, and your community in a lot of different ways. But we are going to solve that today, tell you how to do it. So number 4, the 4th strategy that we will talk about today is how to seek solutions for upward mobility. Black folks worldwide have been stagnant. They have not moved no more than 1%, less than 1%, upward in education, in economic development, in politics, and especially in ownership. We have less today as black people worldwide than any time in the history of black folks. And we have been around here for many, many, many centuries. Now, a lot of you don't believe that you are poor. A lot of you love yourselves to the point where you believe that you are an acceptable person in the world, that you are loved by the human enemies of mankind, and that's good. If you want to believe that, you must continue to believe it. But I also want you to know that there are some good days ahead, because we will be talking about the 5th survival strategy today, and that is seek opportunities for success. I will share some proven strategies to show you how you can seek success that's been discussed even before 5,000 years ago. And you need to know about it, because the first strategy this morning was give a man a fish and he'll learn how to eat for a lifetime. That was a story that was told by a Chinese philosopher over 4,000 years ago. And when you start talking about seeking opportunities for success, you find a lot of these strategies in the Bible, in the so-called King James Version, which we're not going to address today, but we're just telling you that anything that you hear on this show is nothing new. It is something that you will find out that you need to do, that you have heard before, but you were not organized well enough to do it. And one of the other problems, ladies and gentlemen, that's causing black people and people throughout the world is that they don't know how to build what we call positive relationships. That is one of the most serious problems among black people worldwide, and especially in America. With all that brainwashing that's been put forth, all that propaganda where you've been told that you are worse than worse. You are not even thinking about doing anything great, that you are going to mess up anything you're put in charge of. A lot of you believe it. And when you've been told that for year after year, you start believing, and you start what I call misperforming. You get to the point where you just automatically won't do the research you need to do and learn the things you need to learn when you have positions of responsibility, and you just allow all kinds of things to happen. And the seventh thing that you will learn today in this survival strategy scheme that I'm giving you that will show you how to prepare for tough times is to learn what I call the three-part corrective action plan. Simple information today. Simple enough for a third grader to hear it and learn it and use it. And the last thing in this survivor strategy that I will be talking about today is expect success. We all know that if you learn the rules of life, if you learn the game plan, if you learn the procedures, how to run, catch, kick, sing, dance, think, act, invest, save, you can be successful. And that's what I will be telling you about today, because we know that two things will determine your destiny, whether you like it or not, and that is education and economic development now and in the future. But if you don't have these focus ideas that I will address as the first survival strategy, if you don't focus on self, family, and community first, you won't get anywhere in this world. You must look at yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Look at yourselves and see if you have the education and training you need to be successful, to be able to start and feed a family. If you don't have the right education and skill development, you should think seriously about waiting until you get those things together before you start a family. It's very important to look at yourself. So when you get yourself together and you start a family, you'll know how to teach them to do what you have done to be successful. And your family then could get the education, the training, the skill development they need, and they'll be able then to have the resources to build a community. Black people throughout the world, and you don't believe me, do the research, black people throughout the world do not have communities. They have neighborhoods. But if you learn to focus on goals for yourself first, your family second, and a potential community third, you'll be able to start moving educationally and economically, locally, nationally, and internationally. Now, in order to focus on yourself, you have to look at some opportunities that are out there that's causing people to think that they can't be successful. And that is, you have been given opportunities to get hooked up in your psychic and economic and educational minds, and you've just been able to have a lot of problems put on you that you allowed to be put on you. And the bad part is, there's nothing wrong with having problems, but this bad part about it is when you don't have the ability to identify the problems that you have. Now, some of you need to think about this little simple scheme. What problems do I have? When did these problems start? And why are they persistent? When, where, and why? And then, if I have these problems, shall I identify them? Of course, we'll talk about it. And if I identify them, is there a remedy or is there a corrective action plan that I can use to eliminate these problems? I can tell you, folks, this is third grade thinking now, third grade thinking. I can tell you, when you start identifying and getting ready to start problems, you have to do what they call working on negative traits. Start working on your negative traits. And you start asking yourself something. You say, what's wrong theory? There's a theory called what's wrong theory. That's when you do a self-inventory. And you start looking at family first. Say, do I have any family problems? Did I have a family when I was born? Or did I just have a mother or father or a grandparent as individuals to raise me? I told you, you don't have a community. You have neighborhoods, of course. That's one of the first things you have to look at when you start working on your negative traits. And then you want to know, I want to understand whether I was abused or not when I was a child. What is abuse? Folks, abuse can be about 1,000 things. But the abuse that we're talking about today is personal abuse, where you were cussed, you were miseducated, you were not fed properly, you were in homes where there was a lot of drugs, alcohol, fussing and cussing. You was alone most of the time, being reared by someone that's probably 2 years older than you, and you weren't but 2 or 3. Or you were with some old person that's over 60 that can't hardly take care of themselves. That's abuse, ladies and gentlemen. So now if you are in a situation where you have a lot of family problems and you're abused, I guarantee you that means you didn't have that corrective action in your life that would make you move forward, and that is discipline. That too, lack of discipline, is a negative trait. When your providers or caregivers are young or old or stretched out on drugs, no education, alcohol, and been abused themselves, they're not going to provide any discipline for you. They're going to sit around and drink and cuss and look at TV all day, smoke dope, take pills, leave you 3, 4, and 5 hours alone, and you're just 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years of age. No discipline. And then when they come home after 10, 12, or 14 hours or the next day, they are not disciplined. They're walking and staggering and cussing and sleeping, and you are there raising yourself. So folks, you got to start working on these things and know these abuses that's taking place in our society and has always been. In this instant, we're talking about black people worldwide. Now let's get specific about some of these negative traits that you all don't like to talk about. Specifically, listen to me and answer this silently. As a child, did I have an opportunity to be around a lot of drugs in my household, in my school, in my neighborhood, in my church? Of course. Of course. So did we have a lot of alcohol in my home, in my school, where we would go to the bathroom and drink alcohol during class day? Did we have any gambling at home, at school, in the basement of the church? Did we have a lot of health problems? Did I ever attend a health session anywhere during my early years? Did I go to the eye doctor? Did I ever go and get my eyes checked? Did I have my ears checked when I was a child? Of course you did, or you didn't. Most black people will say they did not have that opportunity. As an example, I've been around a long time, many years, as you can see. And I didn't see my real doctor, my first real doctor in person that took care of me until I was in the military, about 25 years of age. I knew there were some doctors around, but during the time, we couldn't afford to go to the doctor. So someone in the community would give you the care you need. Some old lady that had medical strategies and ideas that can put stuff together. We're not going to go into that, but we're just talking about health issues. These are negative traits that you need to be aware of. And then, folks, another negative trait that a lot of us have and don't want to identify it, and that is appearance. Folks, look at some of your children. Look at some of your grandchildren. Look at yourselves. You're going to find your appearance won't get you a job anywhere. And matter of fact, even if you went to a funeral home, they would have to change your clothes. So we're going to take a minute here to break and give you a chance to look at some of the underwriters and sponsors of this program. And then we'll come back and talk about survival strategies preparing for tough times. This is the Eld Henderson Real News Show. Organize, don't criticize the human enemies of mankind. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
Are you dreaming of becoming an entrepreneur, but you're not sure where or how to start? At Entrepreneurs Academy 101, our online program will guide you step by step on how to start and grow your own business. We offer courses such as how to write a business plan, how to create a budget, and so much more. Our online training program is designed for you to learn at your own pace, and there's no set order to complete this program. Because our academy is online, you have the choice to learn with a group, with friends, or individually. Upon completion of the entire curriculum, you will receive a certificate of achievement to acknowledge that you have completed the training needed to become a successful entrepreneur. So enroll today to design the life that you love. Contact your entrepreneur coach, Brenda Myers, at 601-672-0695 or visit our website at www.entrepreneursacademy101.com for more information.
Have you had your Earthblend coffee today? At Earthblend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earthblend Coffee.
To order, visit earthblendcoffee.co now.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Eld Henderson Real News Show. Organize, don't criticize the human enemies of mankind. Today we're giving you another story about some information that's going to help change your lives, your status, and your family in 30, 60, and 90 days if you use it. Who can change something that's important in 30, 60, 90 days? You can. What things can you change? Things you know, things that you want to change in your life if you want to do better. And you have to focus on two things. That's education and economic development. If you don't have the education and training you need, ladies and gentlemen, your economic development is going to be on the low side. Now, some of you say, I don't need any education. I don't need any real training. Say, I'm still going to make it. You just might. But you probably won't get a chance to spend it. You will be probably serving time in jail or prison or dead before you're 30 years of age. And I was just talking about that just a few minutes ago in part one of this show when I was talking about working on your negative traits. And we got to the point where we were talking about appearance. And if you think this is a problem, wherever you are, if you're at home, look at yourself first. How are you dressed? What are you wearing? And then look over at your children. How do they look? Are they competitive if they were to go and look for a job dressed that way? I'm just asking the question. Would you think they will be able to go and get a job making more than a minimum wage just by the way they look? You determine that. You'll be surprised. If a poor man goes into a place looking poor, like he'd been run over by an 18-wheeler, dirty, green, red, blue, brown hair, all on the same head, red socks blue shoes. Will he get that job? Of course not. And if he got the job, he will not be working around people. He will be working at night or in the back room or in the basement, doing that hard work, folks, where you make that wonderful salary called the minimum wage. They will not get that financial security. And you are saying, well, if I look the way I want to look and can't get the job I want, even though I have the skills, someone is discriminating against me. They are. And there's a remedy for that. And it'll take about 5 years to resolve it. You can file a suit against them, take them to court. If you have enough money to get a lawyer, win the case, ask for $2 or $3 million for being discriminated against, pay your lawyer about 50%, and then that's 5 years. 99.9% of you won't be able to do that, ladies and gentlemen. Just think about preparing for tough times. You need to know certain survival strategies that will move you forward now and in the future. And it's all about education and economic development. Now, once you have focused on your goals, you have identified and start starving property. Now that means you don't give them everything they need. If you got a problem with drugs, alcohol, and gambling and bad health, you don't continue doing those things. You have to learn how to solve them. So in order to get yourself, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm including all your kids and your grandkids, everybody you know, the next survival strategy that you need to look at in your life is number 4, which I call seek solutions for upward mobility. If you are staying in the same position with the same education and training, if you are making the minimum wage today, you will not be making the minimum wage tomorrow because of upward mobility, because of automation, because of technology. You are going to be put out of a job, folks. And that's why old folks, young folks, middle-aged people, all of you tell each other that we are going to constantly seek education and training and skill development. I'm not talking about getting a college degree, a master's, a PhD, or even a BS, a bachelor's degree. I'm talking about some kind of skill certification that can say on that little piece of paper that this person has the skills to do certain things, and they are current skills that will probably be in our work environment for the next 5 to 10 years. So in order to do this, ladies and gentlemen, now this is simple, and this is not one of these presentations that's going to get you feeling good. I don't want you to feel good. I want you to feel bad while you're learning things, so you can see, well, I believe I'm a little guilty in this area. I'm going to do something about it. So if you want to seek solution for upward mobility, you want to think about the fact that I want to rise educationally. I want to rise a little bit economically. I want to be able to earn more. I want to be able to invest so I can have residual income that's coming in while I'm asleep. And I want to be able to do this in an incremental way that's going to be gradually increasing as long as I'm working. Making more interest on your accounts, more dividends, more money that you can make when you sell an investment. You buy some land for $4,000 an acre. Fix it up, rehab it, put a fence around it, sell it in 2 years for $15,000 an acre, and you just paid $4,000 for it. You have to know about those things. This is what I call seeking solutions for upward mobility, you need to know how to do it. So in order to do this, ladies and gentlemen, you have to learn how to determine priorities. You have to learn how to read and plan for change. Don't go around asking that local John Doe how to do anything. He has never done anything. He can't help you very much. That's why he is poor and broke and miseducated, because he didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to go and seek help. You go to one that you see as a role model that's doing what you want to do, if it's positive, and find out how he or she did it. That's very simple, folks. So you have to determine your priorities by planning for change. And the way you plan for change is read, observe, and you will then start seeing that there are some possibilities. And once you learn a few things after reading and observing, you then have to sit down with your friends and others and share ideas about what you want your future to be. What do I want to do in 3, 5, 7, 9, 15 years? Do I want to do the same thing? Do I want to continue to live with mother and father until I'm 30 or 40? And then by that time, my grandmother will be about 50 or 60, and then I move with her to proclaim that I'm going to take care of her and her husband, who is my grandfather. And then after 10 or 15 years, they die, and I take the house that I'm not able to even pay the taxes on and lose it in 30, 60, or 90 days. Folks, you cannot seek solution for upward mobility thinking like that. So you have to read, plan to change, and then talk with people about it and share these ideas with others. And then you have to come to one action, and that is, say, I'm going to take specific action. Take action now. And in 30, 60, and 90 days, I'm going to be doing certain things. I'm going to be looking at my educational opportunities that are available to me in my community. I'm going to be looking at skilled job opportunities that are available for me right in my area. I will determine what it costs. Folks, if you have gotten into a position today in America or in the world, and you didn't get the educational training you need when you were in middle school or high school, and you're over a certain age, usually over 18, and you're potential or have dropped out, in most states, even in America, in many places in Asia and Africa, if you are 18 and you've been miseducated or not educated at all, have no skills, there's a program somewhere that will give you an opportunity to get involved in it free of charge, usually through some foundation that has given someone $2 or $3 million to provide job opportunities. Or you might go to your local community college or some of the senior colleges. They have all kinds of programs that would help you move educationally and economically without getting a degree. You would get certification, or what they call a certificate, or what they call a diploma. 6 weeks, 4 weeks, 8 months, 1 year, 18 months. That's important, folks. You can get a certificate in certain programs and make more money than a teacher can make with 4 years of college. I'm not going to go into that today. I'll do that later on. So when you start seeking solutions for upward mobility, there are very constructive things you can do. And I'm getting now to number 5, and I said number 5 is to seek opportunities for success. Here you are. You know all about your problems. You have identified them. You've been able to read and plan for change. You shared ideas with others, and now you have an action plan, and you've got to go out now and seek opportunities for success. And I told you earlier in the introduction that I would be referring to that old King James Version of the Bible that you all love. And it says something that is very, very prevalent today that you need to always remember when you're seeking opportunities for success. It says, seek, knock, and you will find it. I'm just paraphrasing it. So when you seek something, ladies and gentlemen, in your life that's going to help you change, you have to start looking for it after you've already shared those ideas and talked to people and they told you what they know too. So you have to start seeking. So go out and start looking for opportunities. Then once you hear or have a rough idea of where that opportunity is, you have to step out, folks, and go and find it. I'm looking for a program in computer technology. I want to get into a nursing program and become a RN, registered nurse, or want to provide technical support to nursing staff. I want to become a certified truck driver. All of these are areas and opportunities where you can just step out and find it after you do that review that I talked about earlier. And once you have goals set, you want to have about 3 goals set at one time, and then you work on them in this order. 1, 2, 3. Don't try to do 3 things at a time. Just have them ready in your mind, on your paper, in your portfolio of activities, and then start working on them. So once you find out that I want to go and start learning how to engage in artificial intelligence by learning more about technology and how to build drones or how to program a computer, I'm going to identify a specific business that's doing this, and then I'm going to do like the Bible says, I'm going to knock on some doors. Ask, seek, and knock. I'm going to knock on some doors and fall up in there with a resume in my hand. 1 page. Don't go with 5 or 6 pages acting like you can do 5 or 6 different things. You can't. That's why you're not working. You've been led to believe that you have to exaggerate what's on your life plan. If you miseducated, have no economic potential, and you pass a certain age, whatever you want to do, just put it on 1 page and take it to those schools and institutions, community organizations, and say, this is what I want to do. I want you to help me do it, what it's going to cost. They will tell you the cost, and then you say, where will the funding come from? They usually tell that. So in order to seek opportunities for success, you have to then learn, ladies and gentlemen, how to do the 6th thing that I talked about when you're preparing for tough times, is you have to learn how to build positive relationships. You can't do anything by yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you know, Jesus was the smartest man around. I told you this a few weeks ago. And he could do it by himself. He had 12 disciples working around with him, and then he had a good support staff to travel around with the disciples. And they all worked together, went from place to place. So in order to build positive relationships, you got to understand and know for sure that you can't do it alone. You got to get to know someone that can open that door for you, that can write that resume for you to fit the new current job opportunities. And then they will be one of your supporters. They can call before you get there and say, I'm sending someone to talk to you tomorrow. And I tell you, I know them well. They are highly qualified. Give them a chance. And you go in dressed properly with a nice resume. You can talk to those people after you learn how to look them in the eye, how to shake the hand properly, how to smile but not skin and grin, and have to wait until they tell you to please sit down. And then you keep your mouth shut until they ask you a question about what you're there for. Because in most cases, if you're smart, you have already sent that resume, and they have read your resume, and they have read that letter of recommendation that you had your friend to send, and they know all about you. So don't start talking about things. Let them ask you a question, and then answer the question only. If they tell you, what town do you live in? You name the town. Don't give them the address, your phone number, and tell them who your mama is. They don't care nothing about that. They just want to see if you who you should be. So you got to get to know folks, and you get out there and start interacting with people, and there are two different individuals that you should always have on your knowledge team that I don't ever want you to forget. If you're anywhere from 30 to 50 years of age, you ought to have a young person on your team that you can talk to and ask for directions, and a senior citizen. And this is important, folks. A lot of you all say things are real bad. What can a senior citizen tell me? They can tell you a lot. They can tell you some of the mistakes they made and how they resolved them, how they moved from that poverty list to where they are now, retired, traveling all over the world 2 and 3 times a year, living in a home that's been paid for the last 15 years, getting a new car every 3 years, and they pay for it cash, got money in the bank, saving bonds, all kinds of investments. And all they did was learn how to earn. They didn't have a PhD or a master's degree. They had skills. They had the ability to work. They had the ability to save and invest. That's why you want to know an old person. We like to call them senior citizens. Have one of those in your life. And then you need to have that young person in your life as an advisor. That'll serve 2 purposes. One, you can ask them about, what are you planning for the future? And they tell you, and you might say, that will not work. That will not work. But folks, we're coming up to a break, and I want to tell you now, I will be telling you what will work when we come back after this short interruption. I want you to pay attention to the underwriters and listen to those people and sponsors that you're going to hear about in the next few seconds. And then we're going to come back with part 3 and continue to talk about survival strategies preparing for tough times. And this will show you how to change your life, your family, your status, and your community, which you don't have, in 30, 60, or 90 days. Stay tuned.
Hey, have you heard about the Accountable Card? It's more than a card. It's a complete mobile banking service that's accountable to all of us. You'll get a no-credit check debit card good anywhere Visa is accepted to make purchases, deposits, even get or transfer cash with an FDIC-insured bank account managed from our smartphone app. There's even a pre-approved no-interest line of credit if you need emergency cash. So why go to the bank when you can have ours in your pocket? Get accountable. Just download our app today.
SocratesGarrettENT.com is a diversified firm specializing in recycled aggregates and crushed concrete. SocratesGarrettENT.com's recycled materials provide the construction industry with significant economic and environmental benefits by recycling clean concrete rubble into M.Dot grade rock materials. Recycled aggregates and crushed concrete can be applied to driveways, road construction, bank protection, parking lots, general bulk fills, and more. For more information, please call 601-896-0084 or visit us online at SocratesGarrettENT.com.
Okay, folks, I'm talking to the viewers and listeners of the L. Henderson Real News Show. Organize, don't criticize the human enemies of mankind. I'm here today with part 3 of our wonderful show. You heard me put that little negative there, which I should say positive show. Not wonderful, but positive show that can help you learn how to prepare for tough times. And I guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, they are coming. They are coming. If you don't get your education and your economic development strategies together, you are not going to be prepared for now and the future. Education does not require all the time that you have a doctorate degree or a master's, whatever. Currently, due to automation and artificial intelligence, all you need now is the ability to acquire a certificate or some kind of certification to endorse you as one that has skills to do certain things that's going to help monitor all of these technologies that are being developed every day. And that's when you have to build those positive relationships that I talked about. How you're going to have to network with successful people. And forget about all those people you've known in your early life, even if it's some of your relatives that were alcoholics, drug addicts, that were gambling and beating you down, raised you in a situation where you had poor health, didn't feed you properly, didn't give you any discipline. And then on top of that, when you complained as a child or a young adult, they told you to shut up. Who you think you are? I'd take care of you. I've heard it, folks. I've heard it. I've seen it. So you got to get yourself in a different group, get in a different network, folks. Some of you just hate to leave those, what I call evildoers, those folks that'll keep you in poverty, keep you low, keep you down to the bottom, because that's where they feel comfortable. They'll say, oh, don't do that. You don't need to do that. Say, I know somebody that did that and they didn't get anywhere. And your job is to say, thank you for that wonderful information, but I'm not that person. I'm going to change. I'm going to rise. I am going to be successful because I want to do better than you. Look at me in the eye and say, I want to do a little better than you, Uncle John. But don't talk about him in a negative manner. Just say, I want to do a little better. And make it real good by saying, so I can help you later on. Think about that, folks. That's why you have to deal with successful people, people that are positive. Get them in your network. And you don't need but a few. I told you earlier in my introduction that Jesus was the most important trainer and the most important man in the world, and he started off with 12. So you don't need but about 5. You need someone to help you with your educational thought, your economic thought, your religious thought, someone to help you with your political thoughts, and then someone to help you with your social thoughts. 5 of them. And then you add more and more as you get more education, more skills, and then more success. And then you widen your network and get more successful people around you so you all can talk about build that pond that's going to teach you how to fish for a lifetime. That was our introduction. We said, we're going to teach you today, folks, how to fish. And we used an old Chinese philosophy that says, give a man a fish and he will eat for a day. Teach a man to fish and he will eat for a lifetime. Think about it. A day versus a lifetime. I'm teaching you how to fish today, folks. I don't mind bragging about it. If you learn these strategies and learn how to prepare for a tough time by using what I tell you today, you will own your own pond. You will be totally independent. You won't be depending on the government to help you. You will not be dependent on your family. They keep an old regular house somewhere and you live with them because you can't pay your own rent. or buy you a house. Now, folks, don't say I'm being negative. No, I'm not being negative. I'm not criticizing anyone. We always been down and out, all of us. But you have to learn how to get out of that gutter, how to get from the bottom of the barrel, how to associate with folks, and then do that knocking and seeking and asking, so you can find that door and go up in there and bust up in there and learn something. And you do that by building these positive relationships and looking at a role model and ask him or her again, how did you get here? I know about you, boy. I know about you, young lady. You used to have a tough life. I've been reading about you. I've been hearing about you. Look at you now. So, folks, let me tell you what those folks are going to tell you. They said, John, you're right. I was born in a family, it wasn't even a single parent family. I didn't have no parent at all. I was in foster care. I decided to run away from foster care and didn't have no relatives to go to. So I just lived on the street. And then one day someone stopped by and say, who are you? Say, you look pretty decent. What is your problem, young man, young woman? You would tell them, and this would be a bold person, I don't have a problem, sir or ma'am. I'm just having a little hard time right now. I just need a little help. Don't be ashamed to ask for a little help. They'll probably say, come on, jump in this car, get in this van. I'm going to take you home with me. My son and daughter just left. They went to college on a college scholarship. And we want to use the funds we set aside for them to give it to someone. And you're the one. Are you interested in changing your life, your status, and your family in 30, 60, 90 days? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Well, get in here and let's go and do it. And I'm going to teach you this 3-step plan that will make you successful now and in the future. I'm going to give you the survival strategies, young man or young lady, that's going to prepare you for tough times. And I've already told people how to focus on goals, how to identify and star problems, how to work on negative traits, how to seek solutions for upward mobility, how to seek opportunities for success, and how to build positive relationships. I have taught thousands of them how to do that, man, young lady. Do you want to learn that too? And they would say, yes. I'm going to tell you again, jump in here, get in this car. You're going to live with us. I've already talked to my mate or my partner about this, because I'm going to teach you quickly how to set up a 3-point corrective action plan, even though you are not a teenager anymore. You're 20 or 30, been homeless, been in foster care, been neglected. And this is what you're going to have to do, and we're going to teach you how to do it. You have to learn to do 3 things. One is rebuild your education and training potential by getting the proper education and training you need, so you know that there is something out there called certification for industries, that you don't have to go to school for no 40 years to learn how to be successful economically. Then when we teach you how to get into a program where you're going to get the education and training you need, since we have been very successful here, we've already taught our 2 kids how to get a scholarship when they finished high school. They did that, and now they have a 4-year scholarship, both of them, where they are going to get a stipend of $800 a month and a full scholarship, room, board, fees, books, everything, plus that $800 a month just for spending change, because we taught them how to get that education and get that training and how to make that 30 on the ACT test and do all the things they need to do, because we trained them to focus. We trained them to starve their problems, not feed them. We train them to work on their negative traits. So now, my job is to work with you in your education and training initiatives. And if you stick with me and learn something, young people, or young person, they picked up this homeless person and taken them home with them, say, I'm going to teach you economic development and teach you how to invest what you learn. And because of your hard training, you are going to be making $25 to $60 per hour. Can I do that, sir? Of course. I'm going to teach you how to do that. And then I am going to teach you how to invest your money while you're young. What am I going to invest in, sir? Well, what do you like? I like cars. I would like to travel one day. I would like to own my home or some apartments or something. I like good food. Well, I'm going to teach you how to invest in food manufacturing plants. I'm going to teach you how to invest in energy companies, those people that keeping you warm and keeping your lights on. I'm going to teach you how to invest in these companies that make cars, since you say you like good rides. I'm going to teach you to invest in stocks and bonds that these ship companies own. You like to do a lot of traveling. So that's what you invest in. You don't go invest in something that's not known to make money. This new stuff that's coming out, I'm not going to name any of them because a lot of you all have invested your money in certain things. Start with C and other things, and you're going to be dead broke in 6 months or less. You're going to have to move with your mama, your daddy, grandma, or somebody because you're going to lose everything you have. You invest in individual stocks and bonds that have proven themselves to make interest of 3 to 15 or 20% a year. They're out there, folks. You learn how to go and get that old newspaper once a year. When those folks get ready to lose all them homes, all that property, and go and invest in about 100 of those and pay their back taxes. $300 or $400, $2,000 or $3,000, and just hope they go and buy themselves some time and get some money and pay their taxes, and the county will be sending you anywhere from 12 to 18% interest on all that money you invested in that 1 year. That's what a lot of people do. You can't find an investment strategy better than that anywhere in America or in Europe or Asia or Africa. Where can you find a guaranteed 10 to 18% interest on an investment? I can teach you that, young lady. That's what this person telling these people. Now, the next thing I'm going to teach you, and I'm going to do all of this in 2 years, I'm going to teach you how to have your third leg in this tripart corrective action plan. I'm going to teach you how to start a family and how to become what I call a community action initiator. What are you talking about? Where did you tell me you came from? Well, I came from foster care. I was homeless. When I got out, I couldn't go nowhere. Well, I'm going to teach you about family development, how you have to learn certain things from your mother and father, whoever's taking care of you. They're going to teach you how to work, how to study. They're going to have curfews for you. And they're going to tell you that you can't have people coming over all the time, wasting your time and our time, disturbing the household peace, while you're supposed to be studying and sleeping and resting so you can go out and do better. You're going to teach me all of that? I don't know anything about that. That's why the Lord told me to stop right here and pick you up. So I'm going to teach you these things, how to start a family. After you find someone that has potential that might be comparable to yours, I'm going to teach you that you don't start bringing children into this world while you can't even take care of yourself. You have no job. You have no transportation. You have nowhere to live. You're living with others, and they can't hardly pay the rent. I don't want to teach you how to do that. I want to teach you how to be a family developer and a community action initiator. So when you get yourselves together, ladies and gentlemen, you then get that education and training. You get that economic development, get that certificate or those diplomas or those certifications to show that you are in a position economically where you're making $25 to $65 an hour. And then, folks, you're going to say that is the third leg of that corrective action plan. Education and training is one. Economic development and investments, two. And the third one is family and community action initiators. That's what it's all about. Getting the education and training, getting the economic development together, and then creating a family where you're going to train them. Generation after generation, they will be sharing that good information that you were taught for 3 or 4 generations. And in about 300 years, all of you will be economically secure, because with all that extra time you will have, once you get your education economic development, you're then going to have the idea that I need to do something with all this money I got invested. And this is very important, people. You need to do it. And that is, I'm going to start my own business. I have the money to do it. I have the education and training to do it. So what am I going to invest in to get the money I need? Because my business is not going to make any money during the first 1 to 2 or 3 years. At least it's not going to make a profit. After expenses, I'm going to eventually need a profit. So then, folks, you invest some of that money that you have invested, where you have that income coming in from those stocks and bonds, from all that good money you get every 3 months through the mail that they send to your bank account. Use that money. Then go to the bank and borrow about half of what you need. Just sign it with your signature, because the bank will show that you have the money. Start your own business. And by this time, ladies and gentlemen, you are between 45 and 55 years of age. If you're working for someone, you just quit then. You just quit. You have enough years in to get the retirement, get a check the rest of your life. You're not even old enough for Social Security at 45 to 55, but you have a business coming on that's guaranteed to make a profit, because you've learned how to invest, how to make a profit, what to do and what not to do. And as we conclude, I'm going to tell you, when you learn these 8 survival skills where you prepare for tough times, I will give you now the last one, number 8. Once you do all of these things, focus, starve your problems, prepare for upward mobility, and seek opportunities, the last thing you have to do is expect success. I guarantee you'll be successful when you do all the things I've taught you today. You will have a good education and a good skill base that's going to be aligned with automation and technology, because it's changing every day. You have those certifications. It might take going back to the computer and getting another certification every 6 months that you can get in 6 lessons how to get to the next level. And since you have all the good things you need in your life, you will have that health care taken care of. You're going to have excellent health. Another success indicator you will have that most people wouldn't have because they didn't know about the way to prepare for tough times, you will have money in the bank, saved, invested, and you will have a strong family unit, folks. That's what all it's about. It's about that. Education and training, good health, money in the bank, strong family unit. And that's why I tell you, folks, if you learn how to survive and you prepare for certain times, and those certain times are called tough times, and you learn how to fish so you can learn how to have your own pond by looking at your education and training and skills. Folks, I would tell you a fact, and most of you wouldn't believe it. If you do these things that I told you, you won't ever have to worry too much about a medical bill, because you'll live a long time, and I guarantee you most of you will die in your sleep just before you get to 100 years of age or before you get to 110. Think about it. If you don't have any of those things that I mentioned and live that tough life, you'll probably be in an old folks' home for 5 or 6 years, be in hospice care, and can't even die. I know I'm making it sound bad. That's what I'm doing on purpose. So, folks, if you want to prepare for tough times, learn something. Try to get the skills you need. Invest and save. Get a good family structure going. Get hooked up with people in a network where you're going to share what you know after you find out what they know, and pass it along to your family and friends. And I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to the Eld Henderson Real News Show. Organize. Don't criticize the human enemies of mankind. Do something for yourself for a change. Do something for your family. Don't nobody care about you. So if you don't care about yourself, folks, you will be an outcast in society. You'll be a member of a permanent underclass in America and in the world. Get yourself together. Get yourself together. Organize. Don't criticize others. Do unto others before they do unto you. Learn and earn and invest. Thank you very much, callers. We had a call earlier. We didn't take that call, but we'll get all the calls later on. And I want to thank you very much for listening to the Eld Henderson Real News Show. Thank you very much. And I also want to thank the producer. We have 2 producers back there that's doing a great job. And we might even do something that's going to surprise them. We might decide to raise their salary in about 5 years. I think they appreciate that. See what I'm talking about? Skill enhancement. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.